Hello everyone, it's Simon and welcome back to my vlog. I know it's been a while between videos and I've been meaning to get back into uploading with more of a focus on my music adventures. And recently we have a Sydney guitar show at Olympic Park and I thought this would be a great opportunity to get back into some posting or on YouTube. I've always wanted to get down to the Melbourne version of this, but I usually had to work or just didn't have the money around then, so the Sydney version was a great opportunity to see what it was all about. And I've also got a live gig coming up. It's actually my first with a full live band in probably decades, and I might make a vlog around that in a few weeks, but this was a good opportunity to get some cables and other bits and pieces at some great show prices, and maybe also try a few pedals for down the track. So anyway, heading in, we came to the acoustic area first, which was quite a good selection of local makers and overseas makers, and there was also a stand selling Australian tone wood, a few electric models in there as well. And while I do have an acoustic and appreciate the craft that goes into it and don't mind the acoustic guitar, electric guitar is more my forte, but it was interesting to see what was around. Heading into the main floor, we saw the Fender booth first. I made a beeline for that one. It's presented by Muso's Corner, which is a great little music store up in Newey. Great little booth there. It's got a timeline of all their company history and the history of a Telecaster and their amps and everything. All their history on how they influence American rock and roll. I mean, Fender is synonymous nowadays with music. Heading in, there was a few Tone Masters set up to try, which is a Fender's signature effects board, but I managed to try out a Fender Strat as well, which is good, in a few of their signature sounds as well. Quite a few Tone Masters set up for everyone to try, both for bass and guitar. Quite a lot of signature guitars on display as well, all sorts of styles, Jazzmasters, Stratocasters, Telecasters. I think I saw there's a Chris Shiflett one from the Foo Fighters coming up. There it is. Dave Murray from Iron Maiden. I think that's one of their newer signature models. A little bit out of my budget, as most of these things are. Anyway, that was a Fender booth, really good to look at. I went back later on and got myself a new Strap and a couple other bits and pieces as well. Next up is Belfield Music, and they had an ESP and Marshall on display. ESP is kind of my main guitar at the moment. I'm running with LTD Eclipse, and I have a Gary Holt, a signature one that I picked up a couple of months ago. LTD version of that. There's one that I actually have my eye on at the moment, the Telecaster style kind of ESP. I think there's an LTD version of that. This one was a really out there design. Very cool centerpiece of ESP display. A couple more budget-friendly LTDs on display as well. I think we're coming around to the one I've got my eye on at the moment. Yeah, that white Telecaster-ish kind of one. I'd love to get my hands on that. It's more of a punk friendly kind of guitar, which I wouldn't mind. Really cool. Ormsby Guitars, which is a Perth brand. If you know Ormsby, you know that Dino Cazares from Fear Factory is one of the signature artists of Ormsby. His 7-string there. I think in there is a demanufactured version. Custom designed guitars. There's a Ghostbusters one there, which I thought looked cool. There's also a stand on display for Blue Murder Pickups, which is a local company. I might check them out at some stage. Got a lot of business cards as well, and a few flyers and stuff. There's a Solar display, Solar England. And the Dean guitars. Quite a few Dimebag signature ones on display there. I don't mind the Dean. Would love to try a Dean one day. Would be good. Kerry King's a signature artist now for Dean. I thought he was with BC Rich. Must have needed a change up. This one is a Jackson display. I had a quick look at that one. Schecter guitars. That's on my list of guitars I'd like to try. At least I own one of them, one of the Omen series or the Demon series. Coming into the pedals now, with first up we have IK Multimedia on display with their Tonex. Headrush with their range of pedal boards, the Edge and Looper, and a couple of the flat frequency, flat response monitors. Boss, we're coming into the Boss booth. They had a massive booth on display with the katanas up for demonstration. I've got a katana head myself.
So if you play that riff round and around again, go for it.
Attention exhibitors.
This is my favorite of our ones.
One of their newer models on display there, the PX1, which is like one of those ones where you can like download what effect you want, load it in. A good range of pedals on display there you could actually buy at show prices. Didn't pick up any today, but I did pick up a couple of cables that I needed. Also back in the acoustic booth, the Kink Pedals, which is a local pedal company. They had a few fuzz boxes on display, had a look at that.
It's got a super rack and
Opposite the Boss booth, there was a couple of booths set up for what they call the Pedal Party, which is a couple of more independent pedal makers, local ones, pedals and pedal boards. A custom pedal board maker, which you could design your own pedal board to see what it would look like. One of the makers there, Dirty Sock Effects, had this really cool concept with their business cards. They had a version that you could build into a pedal, which I might have to try at some point. There's another pedal booth I checked out and actually tried a couple here. One was this Friedman IR preamp kind of pedal that sounded really good, along with a Barsi Paphos overdrive pedal, which was playing with that for a little bit. Really like the sound of it actually. Might look at one or both down the track. Now we come to the amps and the Marshall section. Marshall had a good display on it. The Belfield music booth, really cool. And Black Star. I found these modular amps, I guess you could call them. I want to have to look into them because that would be good to have as a backup. Headfirst amps, which were more of a boutique amp maker. And now we come into the studio, which was more studio equipment. Me being a studio nerd, and well, that's my main job actually as audio producer. I couldn't help but come and have a look at a few of the workshops they had on. They were demoing Fender Studio, which was previously Fender Studio One. Recently had a rebrand to Fender Studio. Good to learn a few things. I might actually try the Fender Studio at some point. I'm still running version 4 of Fender Studio 1. Probably should upgrade at some point, but anyway. And what's a guitar show without some performances? And while I didn't get to the main stage, I did see a few that were performing at various booths, like this one. And also back of the Fender booth. So there it is, that was my visit to the Sydney Guitar Show. Not a bad little event actually. I might check out the Melbourne one next year if I can get down to it. Trade shows are fun. And of course, being Sydney and really humid at the moment, when I got back to the car, loaded up on deodorant, and then retreated to one of my favourite Sydney suburbs, Rhodes, for a coffee and a cheesecake. That was my trip, and that's all I've got for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.